Alright, welcome to, in this case, the first time that I'm trying to give some sort of a training of, I think it's going to be 15 minutes for press handstands. If you have no clue what a press handstand is, then the movie that I'll show in a second will explain this quite detailed. And during these 15 minutes that I'll give the trainings, we're going to do some power training, but especially focusing on handstand shapes, trying to get the stability from the handstand, getting the legs down, etc. Yeah, so it's not going to be, oh, let's make 100 push-ups, because yes, that will help for the press handstand, but it will not be that definite of a help as opposed to handstands. Trying that press handstand from a higher level or whatever. These videos will be mostly made for them who are already able to do quite a significant handstand. So if you're honestly not able to stand in a handstand yourself, it's very difficult to do a handstand press because you have to keep the balance anyways. So I recommend, if you cannot do a handstand, practice this more. How you do that, handstands against the wall, just throwing up, doing it a lot of times, and of course you can follow the power movements that I do within these trainings. Furthermore, if you already can do the press handstands, then these trainings will still be useful if you want to, since the power movements will be useful anyways, and it might be useful that you eventually could do a press handstand from spread support. I have no clue what that is, but yeah, we'll see how my English will go during these trainings. Let's get to it. Alright, so there are two things actually that you need during these trainings. One is socks. So wearing socks, this makes it easier to slide over the floor, which will make the movements that we're going to do quite a lot easier. Next to that, something that's higher than the ground, for which we're going to try and actually do the press handstand already. I mostly for this use either a chair, which is about this height, or a crate of beer, which also works. They're quite smooth and they're high enough to actually use for the press handstand. So first of all, we're going to warm up everything a little bit in the body. I'm not going to do some running and stuff, but we're going to especially warm up the wrists, because those are going to be very used. The shoulders and the legs a little bit. So we're going to start. I'm going to stand in the back by standing spread, and from here you're going to go from the left to the right, and you're going to keep your legs straight. Your upper arm goes all the way back, so it doesn't have to be very quick. Just make sure that the whole body warms up. Alright, lean down just to get some flexibility. Already put your hands down and press so that your wrists can get some feeling. Also backwards, keep your legs straight. So this is one of the things that you're going to be noticing if you're not flexible enough. It's going to be more difficult to actually do this press handstand, because in the end you want to go from this position. Yeah, so practice this. All right, once more, from the front to the back, or side to the back, I mean. All right, set foot next together. I'm gonna lean down just to make sure that the knees are a bit warm, and stretch out a few times. Okay. Then next, warm up the back a little bit by rotating it. Okay, make sure the shoulders are loose, so you're gonna first only rotate the shoulders, make them a bit bigger, and open up those shoulders all the way at the back. So if you go from here, from the back, you have to touch your ears with your upper arms. Of course, we also rotate backwards. Same principle, so you first touch your ears with your upper arms and then you open up. Okay, and work some. Alright, put on the elbow, the other side as well. So we're gonna do some of the wrists, rotate them in the first place, just do some basic rotational movements. Alright, put them together, namaste. Twist them, so one is upside, one is downside, and in this way you can press down. And the other side as well. Press handstands are quite heavy for your wrists, so if you feel like you have difficulties with this, most of the power movements can actually be done with support, so you can actually support like this. But a real press handstand is easier in the beginning, especially with the hands right on the floor. If you get into trouble with your wrists, just take a break. Make sure that you rotate them, make sure that they're warm beforehand, yeah? Rotate a bit more, we're gonna do some exercises on the floor. Let's see, camera with me. So you can see my hands, there we go. Okay, make a plank. And from this position, you cannot see my head, but that's okay. We're gonna walk a few sides all the way inwards. Rotate back, rotate the other side. And just do a few of this. Okay. In the end, your press handstand is, if you have no problems with your wrist, the best with your fingers kind of forward. For me, my wrists are not so flexible, so I'm gonna point them outwards, that my thumbs point towards the front, which in my case makes it easier to actually lean over my shoulders. So you can see it from the side. From here, it makes it easier to lean forward. All right, continue with the wrist. Gonna sit on the knees. From here, gonna put the hands down. Put them down the other side. Put them down once more. And walk around. All right, and I want you to make a support and lean forward. So give some stretching to it. And back again. Lean forward. And back again. And lean forward. Back. Make some rotational movements. I'll go a bit to the back so you can see my shoulders. Don't press too hard, but give some pressure to the wrists. Okay, and relax. Shake the elbows a bit, or the elbows, the wrists. Alright, so you notice that the warming up, especially for the wrists, is going to take quite some time, especially if you don't do this too often. But do make sure you actually take this time. I know it feels a bit stupid, but we're busy for 5 minutes and we haven't done any handstands yet. But still. So let's get right to it. We're going to make some handstands in the first place. You can do it against the wall or you can do it just freely. I'm going to do it against the wall. And what we're going to try and do is make a few handstands that are just steady enough to support yourself for about 5 seconds. Yeah. So you're just going to do the regular thing. Make sure that your handstands are fine. Try and find your balance. All right. There we go. That's better. And one more. Make sure that the elbows or the wrists are okay with it. There we go. Nice 5 seconds. And relax again. Shake off the wrist. Alright, so after every exercise, just rotate your wrists a bit so that they won't get too much hurt. In the end, a press handstand is going to be your shoulders over your hands. So this is what we're going to do next. So this is a bit of the power training that I told you. We're going to support, high support. And from here, you push forwards with your shoulders so you can see my back is nice and bold. This is where you later go upwards. So lean forward and go back. I'm gonna do this 5 times for 5 seconds approximately. Make sure you push out nice in the shoulders and relax. Once more. And relax. One more time to the front. Relax. Alright, so from this movement, what we're going to do is you're going to put your feet, twist the wrist. You're going to put your feet with the tiptoes to the ground, or with the upper side of your feet, whatever it is, doesn't matter. And from there, you're going to pull your hips upwards. So it's shoulders in the front, and pull the hips up. And go back again. Keep your shoulders before or in front of your hands. One last time. And relax. Shake off the wrist. Alright, so this one is especially important for the beginning of your press handstand. So you're going to make sure that your shoulders stay in front, your hips go as high as possible, and in the end they're going to have to be above your hands, because then you have your nice movements which is straight eventually in terms of momentum and how do you call this? Physics, I don't know. So take a second for some rest again, and then we're going to do that one once more. Let's go. So, hands are nice and steady, shoulders are pressed out, nice plank, toes are pointing to the ground, and you pull upwards. One more time. Hurts a bit on the toes, but hey, what does a little pain do? And relax the wrists again. Okay, gonna do another part of the press handstand, which is gonna be the last part, but in this case we're gonna do it backwards. So we're gonna stand in handstand against the wall. Then from that handstand, you're gonna lift, I fell over. You're gonna get your legs down without falling over, yeah? So you're gonna put your hands about this distance from the wall. So it's about 20 to 30 centimeters. Quite far from normal handstand against the wall, but in that case, when you go downwards with your feet, you can push your shoulders and your back into the wall. So I can show it down here once. So it's a handstand against the wall. And then from here, you're gonna open your legs and go slowly down. Yeah? Alright, so the main important thing, as you saw with me, which went wrong in the beginning, you actually couldn't see it, but I'll do it here against the wall again. Make sure that you press your upper shoulders against the wall. Yeah, so at the moment I have my head, but the upper shoulders. So I'll do it down here. Let's see if we can try this. Here we go. Hands about 30 centimeters from the wall. Further. You make your nice handstand. You open your legs and you make there you go. Okay, so that's about the distance from the wall. You're gonna try this 5 times for yourself. Put the video on pause and then we'll continue in a second with other stuff. Okay, so as you noticed, it's quite hard on the wrist, or at least for me it was quite hard on the wrist. So give that a little break, make sure they're flexed a little bit. So the main important thing here is that your hips actually stay as high as possible, as long as possible, and then the legs only rotate. And when your hips eventually, because when your hips eventually go down, the whole body mostly goes with it. So the other way around later, for the press handstand, it's going to be exactly the same, but then you push up, your shoulders are against the wall, and you press your hips as high as possible. If the hips are as high as possible, it's the easiest to go up. Yeah? Give your wrist a little rest still, and make sure that you have a higher potential something in the with you. So I'm gonna grab some beer. Something nice airplane. Alrighty. So you're gonna put, if you have like this type of crate, you're gonna put it sideways. There's the other side. Okay. So now we're gonna do exactly the same, and you're gonna have to figure out yourself where you're actually gonna have to be. So your feet are on the crate. You put your hands close to the wall again, and you press with your shoulders against the wall. Yeah. So that's your main basic going. You have to figure out what the distance exactly is from the crate to your hands and stuff, so that you actually manage to go there. For me, it's going to be a little bit further away. And for now, we're going to do it with closed legs. And what you're going to do is you press up, you make sure that your hips are high, and you're going to try and tug in your knees and support. So I'm going to show it once, and then you can try it again a few times yourself. So hands from the wall. This one has to go a bit further. That's right. Yeah. So you're going to support like this. You're going to pull your hips up, press your shoulders against the wall, and try and tug in. Okay? So in that position, you can theoretically support. You're going to have to be a little bit. There we go. And make sure that your shoulders are against the wall. One more time. So from here, shoulders against the wall, and tug in. Okay? That's your position where you want to try and end. So, try this a few times. You can put the video on pause again, and let's see how or what. Okay, so I noticed that my hands need to be a little bit further from the wall than I was used to. So, I'm going to put the hands a bit further. And from there, I'm going to try and get there. If you're tugged in, of course, you can just go on. So from this position, try shoulders against the wall, and there we go. And eventually back to handstand. Alrighty, give the wrist a little bit more rest, and then we're gonna go on with a full try of the handstand press against the wall. Of course, you have done this a few times. And now we're going to do it with spread legs against the wall, trying to see how far we can lift the legs, yeah? So, you can get rid of your crate again. And I'm going to do it against this wall. So my hands are away. You put your feet again like we were used to. Your shoulders, find the right location. Your shoulders are pressed against the wall. And from here, I should always start like this so you have a bit of motion. Your feet are going outwards. And see how far you can lift them, yeah? So you saw that for me. It went this up, and then I fell already backwards. So we're gonna try it a little bit further from the wall. There we go. Was already a little support, so this is always as far as I come. Let's try this a few times and see how far we get in the end, alright? Make sure you rotate your wrists quite often, give them a little break. Alright, and we're going to try once more. Of course, at home, if you want to do this more often, just try it. Shoulders against the wall. Shoulders were not against the wall. What I tend to do
is pressure my head against the wall, which means that my shoulders are not all the way pushed up. So I'm going to try again, and we're going to push up the shoulders, shoulders against the wall. I'm telling you guys, and I'm not doing it myself. Let's go. There we go. That's the way it's going to look like after these few times. Alright, so we're going to take a break for the wrist. The main few next things, since you've done most of these handstands anyways, it's going to be a little bit of power training, and then at the end, of course, we're ending with a session of a few handstands. If you feel like your wrists are not up for that, make sure you have some support where you can actually make sure that your wrists are stable. Okay, first few things we've done. We're gonna start with a push-up, which is with your shoulders to the front. Yeah, so your fingers are pointing forwards. If you feel like it's too heavy, just put your knees down. No problem there. Support here. Make sure the shoulders are over your hands. You're gonna make your push-up here. So normal push-ups, your hands are exactly under your shoulder. And for now, we're gonna make sure that your hands are a bit backwards. You're gonna make your shoulders be in front. Yep. So we're gonna do this a few times. 3 times 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And relax. We're gonna do this again 5 times. Let's go. Shoulders in front. 4, 5. Alright. Wrist a bit relaxed. And one last time. Shoulders in front of your hands. And relax. Alright. Shake off. Shake it off. And relax. So the main thing about this first training is that you actually know what the movement is about. And most of this, you're going to repeat it this week at least twice. So if you've done this video one more time, and if your wrists and you are up for it, try it 3 times a week. And then I'll try and come up with some new exercises, some new tryings, etc. But this is the basics. And also record for yourself a little bit how far you get. So the ones in which we went already to the wall, tried to see how far we get. In that position, try and remember whether you actually got your feet off the ground or whether you could pressure your shoulders against the wall. Because for me that's very difficult and I'm trying to better this. Yeah, so we're gonna end up with 3 times 20 seconds of handstand. You can do this against the wall or just freely. So I'm gonna do it against the wall just for my own ease. And in 3, 2, 1, 10, 9, I said 20, I know. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and number 10. Okay. The next one, you're gonna make a handstand, but the handstand is gonna be, the hands are this far away from the wall and your whole body is against the wall, yeah? So you have to support a bit in those shoulders. In 5 seconds, let's go, 20 seconds long. In 3, 2, I'll do it on here so you can see what my body does. 3, 2, 1. 3, 20, yeah, 15, 14, 13, 20. My counting, Jesus. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax. Shake the wrist. And then we have the last 20 seconds. And that's a normal handstand, just again, normal standardized handstand. If you feel like your wrists are done for today, don't do this last one because it's not per se useful if your wrists are hurting that much, but it is useful just as a power training. So if you feel like you want to do this anyways more often, then just do it on a normal day, handstands before you go to bed. Yeah, helps, it definitely helps. Last one, 20 seconds. Oh, that was not a handstand. There we go. No, 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 no. I'm getting tired. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax. Okay, that last one was a bit meh, but hey. Okay, so for today, what have we done? We've done warming up, so making sure that every joint is a bit flexible. Then we've done some basic handstand just to make sure that you're warming up and your mind knows that when you're upside down what to do. Afterwards we did some planks with the shoulders in front, so you were supporting really over the hands, and we pulled up the feet so that your hips are actually above your hands. Yeah, that's eventually where we want to go. Then after that we made some handstands against the wall with the shoulders against the wall, and you're going to bring your feet down and try and touch the floor. Later on during this whole thing, I hope we're going to get there, is that we're going to be in handstand, your feet are touching the floor and you can actually go back. That would be awesome. Then after that we did it with a higher plateau for your feet, so that made it a bit easier to actually go upwards. And the last one we tried to actually get up against the wall, and in that case the feet were spread. Yeah. This is the basics for now, and try the power movements at least 3 times a week. That would be awesome. Then I think we can actually get there. Next week I'll try and make a new video and see how far we get with the press handstands in, I don't know, a few weeks maybe. Let's go. Try it 3 times a week. It's going to be perfect. All right, thanks for joining and see you next time.